वासुदेवाय।
ओम नमो भगवते 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 वासुदेवाय।
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी।
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी।
गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी।
गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी।
यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन।
यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन।
यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन।
यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन।
यमुना तीर वनचारी।
यमुना तीर वनचारी।
यमुना तीर वनचारी।
यमुना तीर वनचारी।
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी।
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी।
गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी।
जय गोपीजन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी।
यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन।
यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन।
यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन।
यशोदानंदन व्रज जन रंजन।
यमुना तीर वनचारी।
यमुना तीर वनचारी।
यमुना तीर वनचारी।
यमुना तीर वनचारी।
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी।
जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे।
हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे। हरे राम
राम राम
हरे हरे। जय राधा गोविंद राधा गोविंद राधा गोविंद श्री राधे। जय राधा गोविंद श्री राधे। जय निताय सच्चिनंदन गौर हरि। जय निताय सच्चिनंदन गौर हरि।
जय निताय सच्चिनंदन गौर हरि। जय निताय सच्चिनंदन गौर हरि।
जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा
जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा।
हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल।
नित्य गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल नित्य गौर हरि बोल।
जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य श्रोत्र श्री श्रीमद हे जीवन वैश्वलाय से भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी प्रभुपाद की
जय जय।
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की
जय।
नामाचार्य हरदास ठाकुर की
जय।
प्रेम से गौ श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गौर गोपनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंजरी गोवर्धन की जय। वृंदावन धाम की जय। मथुरा धाम की जय। जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की जय। गंगा माई की जय। यमुना माई की जय। तुलसी देवी की जय। भक्ति देवी की जय। सामवेद भक्तवृंद की जय। All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
All glories to Shri Shri Guru and Shri Gorakha. All glories to Shri Prabhupada. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishna Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyate Vishakarine Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanastu Krishna Mati Astu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So today we are going to read from Srimad Bhagavad-Gita, Vishnu Darshan Yoga, the Universal Form, chapter 11, which is in the text 24 to 28, the 5 verses. So text 24. Nabhasprusham deeptamanekavarnam
Nabhasprusham deeptamanekavarnam
Vyatanam deeptavishalanetram
Vyatanam deeptavishalanetram
Drishva hitvam pravyathitantaratma
Drishtvanitvam pravyathitantaratma
Dhritim na vindami shamam cha Vishnu.
Dhritim na vindami shamam cha Vishnu.
The word Nabhasprusham,
Nabhasprusham,
touching the sky.
touching the sky.
Deeptam,
Deeptam,
glowing.
glowing.
Aneka,
Aneka,
many.
many.
Varnam,
Varnam,
colors.
colors.
Vyakta,
Vyakta,
open.
open.
Ananam,
Ananam,
mouths.
mouths.
Deepta,
Deepta,
glowing.
glowing.
Vishala,
Vishala,
very great.
very great.
Netram,
Netram,
eyes.
eyes.
Drishva,
Drishva,
seen.
seen.
He, certainly.
Certainly.
Tvam,
Tvam,
you.
you.
Pravyathita,
Pravyathita,
perturbed.
perturbed.
Antaha,
Antaha,
within.
within.
Atma,
Atma,
soul.
soul.
Dhritim,
Dhritim,
steadiness.
steadiness.
Na,
Na,
not.
not.
Vindami,
Vindami,
I have.
I have.
Shamam,
Shamam,
mental tranquility.
mental tranquility.
Cha,
Cha,
also.
also.
Vishnu,
Vishnu,
O Lord Vishnu.
O Lord Vishnu.
Translation. O all-pervading Vishnu,
O all-pervading Vishnu,
seeing you
seeing you
with your
with your
many radiant colors,
many radiant colors,
touching the sky,
touching the sky,
your gaping mouths,
your gaping mouths,
and your great glowing eyes,
and your great glowing eyes.
my mind is perturbed by fear.
My mind is perturbed by fear.
I can no longer
I can no longer
maintain my steadiness
maintain my steadiness
or equilibrium of mind.
or equilibrium of mind.
So this is the continuation of the description that Arjuna is describing in terms of what he is seeing in the universal form of Krishna. Nabha Sprisham Deeptam Anekavarnam. Nabha Sprisham. Nabha here is meaning that the vastness of the universal form is unimaginable. Aneka Varna, and the colors, the various colors that are getting displayed in terms of the universal form, it is Aneka, kind of unlimited in that sense. Vyatha Ananam Deepta Vishalanetram. So the word Vyatha is saying that open Ananam mouths, Deepta glowing, Vishala very great, and Netram eyes. So this description is very detailed description that Arjuna is explaining. And important thing that we have to realize here is that this desire was from Arjuna. So Arjuna wanted to see the universal form of Krishna, and he actually requested that Krishna, please show your universal form. Why he wanted to see the universal form? Because previous chapter, when we see the previous chapter, chapter 10, Krishna was Vibhuti Vistaryo. He was talking about his opulence, opulence of the Absolute. So when Arjuna heard about the opulence of the Absolute, he wanted to actually see how is that opulence? What kind of opulence is that? And that was through the Vishnu Darshan, so through the universal form of Krishna. The important thing here to understand is that there has to be the Divya Chakshu to see the form. So the vision has to be granted to see the form. It is exactly the same thing as we, in our common experience, whenever we are interacting with everyone, what we are seeing is the external body and the expressions that are coming from the body. And based on the expressions, we can understand that something is going on in the mind. Right? So if someone is showing happiness in their face, then we can understand that there's something in their mind which is making them happy. They are thinking about something which is, if they are sad, we can understand that. If they are angry, we can understand that. So we are understanding on the basis of external experience of another person. But what we do not see is some of the things. Like sometimes they say that, and I was actually discussing this with one of the person who was doing a leadership course, and I was having a discussion with that person because they have to do some kind of initial questionnaire, and then they get a result about what are their positives and what are their things that they can work on. And one of the important things that we have to understand when we interact with other people is not only what they say, but also what they do not say. Because there is a lot of things. So what I mean here is the subtlety of what is going on is not observed unless we actually are looking out for it. Because we only see the gross appearances, and based on the gross appearances, we are making some decisions, and these decisions are based on what we have in terms of our own experiences. So if I have an experience about one particular person doing something bad, then whenever I look at a person, I'll probably think about that bad thing. But the person is not just bad or good. They are a combination of different facets, as they say, or different persona. So what we have to understand here is that just like there are different personas to one person, in a similar way, there are different experiences that we experience on a day-to-day basis. But what we never see is that there is the awareness that exists within us. It is taken for granted. So the awareness and consciousness that we have is taken for granted. Why it is taken for granted? Because the whole existence as a living being is dependent on awareness and consciousness. So if awareness and consciousness goes out of my body, I'm dead. So the body exists, but body has got no meaning because the consciousness has gone. So this is what Pandita Samadarshina. There is a beautiful verse in Bhagavad-Gita where Krishna says, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini Shuni Chaiva Shvapakecha Pandita Samadarshina. So a real Pandit. So Pandit does not mean a person knowing a lot of Vedic literature and things like that. Lots of Sanskrit and all those things. A real Pandit is someone who can see all the differences, but at the same time see the unity within the differences. The thing that we talk about, unity in diversity. So that particular verse is talking about that. So a Pandit, a really learned person, will see a Brahmana who has got Vidya and Vinaya. Vidya is knowledge, Vinaya is humility. So when there is real knowledge, there is humility. Because when we have the real knowledge, we understand that each and every one is an eternal part and parcel of Krishna. Mamai Vamshe Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. So then we do not distinguish people on the basis of their external appearances. We say that each and every person is an eternal part and parcel of Krishna, and they have got their eternal relationship with Krishna. So that is what is a Pandita, a person who is in real knowledge, will see a Brahmana who has got a knowledge and humility, Vidya Vinaya Sampane Brahmane. He'll see a Gavi, a cow, Hastini, he'll see a elephant, Shuni, Chaiva Shvapakecha, he might see a dog, he might see a dog eater. So dog eater is sometimes called the Chandala caste. So because unfortunately they're kind of in such an environment that they are dependent on the meat of the dog kind of thing. So a learned person is seeing all these different types of people and animals as well, right? He's seeing a learned Brahmana, he's seeing a cow, he's seeing an elephant, he's seeing a dog, and he's seeing a dog eater. 5 different kinds of living entities. But Pandita Samadarshina, the real person who has got knowledge, will know that this is just an external appearance that these living entities have, but originally they are an eternal part and parcel of Krishna. This is Divya Chakshu. So this is divine vision. So otherwise what happens is we get so much entangled in our day-to-day narratives with other people because we have some preconceived notions about different people, and basing on that preconceived notions, we are kind of having the kind of outlook towards the world. But of course, one of the important things to understand here is that even though a person in knowledge understands all these differences, but because they are in that particular body, the person in knowledge will behave with them in terms of how they are in that particular body. For example, because we say that a tiger or a lion is also a part and parcel of Krishna, one will not go and give a hug to a tiger or lion, right? Because we know that in that particular body they have got these particular proclivities, right? So according to what is external, we behave externally like that, but internally it is 100% clear that they are all part and parcels of Krishna. So when we are internally clear about that, then that is liberation. When this is what is Krishna actually mentions in Bhagavad-Gita, Yastva atmaratireva syad truptascha manava atmanyeva cha santushta tasya karyam na vidyate. Very beautiful verse. Krishna says that when someone is totally satisfied within, atmaratireva. Atmarati. Rati means attachment. Atmarati means when one is totally fulfilled within. One does not need anything external. How can that state be attained? That state can be attained when we know that our original existence is as an eternal part and parcel of Krishna. When we are 100% situated in that particular fact, then the external, like all these impetus will still come, right? So for example, because I have this particular subtle body and gross body, this subtle body and gross body has got some conditioning in it. And because of that conditioning, I will be attached to some things and I will be repelled by some other things. And this is called raga and dvesha. That will happen. That obviously it will happen because I have this body. But one will not get influenced by those attachments and repulsions. One will see them as something that is not me. And that is the real bliss. In that blissful existence, nothing external matters. So then that is what is Yasva Atma Ratireva Syad Atma Truptascha Manava. Atma Trupti means totally satisfied within. Then Krishna says Atmanyevacha Santushta. One who is totally satisfied within, Tasya Karyam na Vidyate. For such a person, there is no activity that that person has to do. Because what is the reason we do any kind of activity in this whole world? The reason is because I want to attain something out of doing that activity. Why do I want to attain something? Because I feel that I get some pleasure out of doing that. So it's all, at the end of the day, any activity that we are doing, is dependent on the pleasure that I get from that activity. If I don't get pleasure from activity, I will not do that activity. So it's very simple, like even, for example, engaging in these discussions, there is something that is within us which derives some pleasure out of this activity. And that's why we are involved in this activity. Something, there is some subtle kind of, that is what is Anandamaya Kosha. This body is made up of 5 koshas. Koshas is 5 sheets. The body is made up of 5 sheets. So we have got the Annamaya Kosha. Annamaya is based on the food. So this body itself subsisting on food. If I don't eat food, body will start deteriorating and one will perish literally. So there is Annamaya Kosha, then there is Pranamaya Kosha. Pranamaya is the breath that we take. And then there is Manomaya Kosha. Manomaya is the mind. And the breath and mind are very directly connected with each other. Right? So if I am agitated in my mind, my breath will be fast. If I am peaceful in my mind, my breath will be slow. That's why when people say that whenever you are nervous or whenever you are anxious or whenever you are angry, just breathe, take a deep breath. So what is happening there is a direct correlation between the Pranamaya Kosha and Manomaya Kosha. So that's the reason. So that direct, and what we can understand here is the subtlety keeps on increasing. So Annamaya Kosha is body, because body can be seen, gross body. Pranamaya Kosha, the breath cannot be seen, right? But we know the breath exists. We know inhaling, exhaling, and everything exists. So Pranamaya, and Manomaya becomes even more subtle. Mind, breath, at least you can feel that the breath is coming out. Mind, who has seen the mind? No one sees the mind. But we know that the mind exists. And there is an actual field of science called psychology. There are psychiatrists who deal with people who have trouble with mental troubles. So we have Manomaya Kosha. Then there is Vijnanamaya Kosha. Vijnanamaya Kosha is that it's again more subtle. Vijnanamaya Kosha is where we are trying to go into the understanding of our existence. So that is Vijnanamaya. It is even more subtle. Generally, what happens is we are in the first 3 koshas always. We always see the body. So Annamaya is obvious. Then Pranamaya, we know that breath exists. Manomaya, we know the mind exists. No one goes into the Vijnanamaya. Vijnanamaya we go into when we are trying to understand Bhagavad-Gita. Then we are trying to understand our original existence as an eternal part and parcel of Krishna. And then Vijnanamaya is relating to Anandamaya. Anandamaya is the most subtlest part of our sheets, the 5 sheets that we have. The Anandamaya Kosha is that blissful experience which we derive when we engage in these discussions of Bhagavad-Gita. It's independent from sense gratificatory happiness. Because sense gratificatory happiness is going only until the Manomaya Kosha. Maximum up to the Manomaya Kosha. It is because what happens when say someone, we like something and we engage in that activity, the mind feels very good about it, and because the mind feels good, we want to keep indulging in that activity. And that's why very wonderful Krishna actually says in Bhagavad-Gita, Man mana bhava mad bhakta. Krishna actually says that, give your mind to me. Krishna says, Man mana bhava mad bhakta, become my devotee, mad yaji mam namaskuru. Offer your prayers to me, offer your obeisances to me. Mame vaishyasi satyam te pratijane priyosi. Krishna says that, Mame vaishyasi, you will surely come to me. Satyam te, this is the truth, that you will surely come to me. Pratijane priyosi me. Oh Arjuna, I am telling this to you because you are very dear to me. That's why I am telling this to you. So, the influence of mind is actually quite amazing in that sense. Udhared atmanam natmanam vasadet atmaiva hyatmano bandhur atmaiva ripuratmana. Krishna mentions in Bhagavad Gita, you raise your mind through the mind. So what does that mean? So there is one mind, the lower mind, which only understands sense gratification. It does not understand anything else. There is a higher mind which is related to the Vijnanamaya kosha that we were talking about. The Vijnanamaya kosha is related to the Anandamaya kosha. So there is a higher mind which knows that that the real bliss is within. So Krishna actually says that raise your lower mind through the use of the higher mind. Udhared atman atmanam atmanam. Atmayava hi atmano bandhu atmayava ripuratmanam. Mind itself is a friend of the person and mind itself is the enemy. Bandhaya vishaya sangha mokshaya nirvishaya. So when the mind is attached to the sense objects, we are in a conditioned state of existence. And when the mind is detached from the sense objects, we are in a liberated state. So that state of liberation is something that can be achieved only in human form of life. In no other form of life it can be achieved. Not even in heavenly planetary systems. It's kind of amazing that way. Because generally, people consider that promotion to heavenly planetary system, you have lots of enjoyment and the span of life is quite vast. A person is not getting old. So it's like a very wonderful situation. But the challenge there is that the whole concept of us getting involved in Krishna consciousness happens because we understand that there is challenges in this material existence. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadhi. These are the four things. I get birth. Because of birth, there is death. And between birth and death, there is Jara, old age, and Vyadhi, which is diseases. And so this dukkhalayam ashashvatam. Krishna says, Mamupetya punarjanmam dukkhalayam ashashvatam napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramamgata. So this material existence is an abode of misery. So it's not to make us pessimistic. It's the realistic experience. So if you look at Buddha's experience, for example, when Buddha was born, the astrologer came to the emperor, and astrologer said that your son will either be a great emperor or he'll be a great saint. So Buddha's father did not, Siddhartha, he was born as Siddhartha. He did not want Siddhartha to become an ascetic saint. So he was trying to shield him from all kinds of seeing any kind of distress. He was totally within the palace, he was shielded from, but then when he grows, when he becomes an adult, he asks his charioteer to show him the place. And then he sees that, he sees all these different ailments, he sees the diseases, he sees old age, he sees death. And then he says that why are we experiencing this? These are the real problems in existence. So that the whole understanding. That's what science is trying to do is, science is trying to solve it from the bodily perspective. Like they are trying to come up with different kinds of medicines to cure all the ailments, but unfortunately, new ailments starts coming in, and we are always kind of trying to find solutions. But the real solution is when we understand that this external existence is relative, it is not absolute. The absolute reality is awareness, consciousness. That is absolute reality. And on that basis, all these relative realities are existing. And relative realities are, the nature of relative reality is, it is not constant. That Krishna says, na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate satha, ubhayor api drishtantas, to anayos tattvadarshidhi. So tattvadarshi means one who sees the real truth. So the real truth can only be seen through the medium of Bhagavad-Gita. Because this is coming, there is a word used called apaurusheya. Apaurusheya means that statement that is not coming from the material realm. It is coming from the spiritual realm. That is what Krishna's statements in Bhagavad-Gita is. The whole discussion in Bhagavad-Gita is that. So when we talk about this particular aspect, where Arjuna is saying, Nabhas Krisham Deeptam Aneka Varnam Vyathananam Deepta Vishala Netram Drishtva Hitvam Pravyati Tantaratma Dhritim Na Vindami Shamam Cha Vishnu. So basically what Arjuna is saying here is that and seeing all these wonderful forms, and the equilibrium of my mind is going away. So it's kind of a paradox here, right? What is the paradox? That this is the Supreme Personality of Godhead showing his universal form, and Arjuna is feeling perturbed by it. So do we consider this as a material perturbament or a spiritual experience? This is a spiritual experience, right? Because why is a spiritual experience? Krishna himself is showing. So what we can understand from this is that all the experiences that we experience in this material existence will be experienced in the spiritual world also. The difference between material experience and spiritual experience is that material experiences are in relationship with matter. Spiritual experiences are in relationship with spirit. So what does that mean? That it means that the spiritual experiences are pure in their experience. Why they are pure? Because spirit does not get decayed. Matter gets decayed. Because just like there is a term called Shad Vikar that is used. 6 kinds of changes that happens. So first of all, it takes birth, right? It grows, it stays for some time, it produces byproducts, it starts dwindling, and then finally it vanishes. This is what happens. You look at any material thing. First of all, it will come into existence, especially the thing that has got consciousness in it. But if you look at, actually, if you look at any, say a stone as well, a stone, the difference between a stone and us, what is the difference? It's the chit element is missing in the stone. The sat element is there. Sat means existence. We can see that the stone is existing. We can see that we are also existing. But the stone will not grow. We grow, right? So it comes into existence. It grows. So grows. Then it stays like that. Say like for example, a child is born. Until the child is 18 years or something, they will keep growing. After that, the growth stops. There was some discussion with the child, and the child was asking why someone does not keep growing until why does the growth stop? It's an interesting question. Children ask these kind of questions, and just imagine if that was a creation, we would all become giants. It would be a universe of giants, like if the growth never stopped in that sense. So basically, so it's growing, and then it stays for some time, then it's producing byproducts, then it starts dwindling, and then it vanishes, it goes out of existence. So this is the material existence. Spiritual existence is where it remains ever blissful, it remains ever, Nava Yavanam, that is the word used for Krishna, that eternally youthful. So there is no concept of old age in the spiritual existence. There is only this because it is spirit, the spirit means it is basically, there is no birth, and because there is no birth, there is no death. And so it's unimaginable, like in our current context, we cannot imagine it. Why? Because we are constantly in matter, that's the only thing that we understand. We never understand spirit. So that's why these discussions are quite important in that sense. So then we go to the next verse 25. Damshra karalani chate mukhani.
Damshra karalani chate mukhani.
Dristvaiva kala nalasannibhani.
Dristvaiva kala nalasannibhani.
Disho na jane na labhe cha sharma.
Disho na jane na labhe cha sharma.
Prasida devesha jagannivasa.
Prasida devesha jagannivasa.
Word of Damshra.
Damshra.
Teeth.
Teeth.
Karalani.
Karalani.
Terrible.
Terrible.
Cha. Also. Te. Your. Mukhani. Faces. Drishva. Seeing. Eva. Thus. Kala Anala. The fire of death. Sannibhani.
Sannibhani.
As
as if
Disha,
Disha,
the directions.
the directions,
Na,
no,
not.
not,
Jane,
Jane,
I know.
I know,
Na,
na,
not.
not,
Labhe,
Labhe,
I obtain.
I obtain,
Cha,
Cha,
and
and
Sharma,
Sharma,
grace.
grace,
Prasida,
Prasida,
be pleased.
be pleased,
Deva Isha,
Deva Isha,
O Lord of all lords.
O Lord of all lords,
Jagat Nivasa,
Jagat Nivasa,
O refuge of the worlds.
O refuge of the world,
Translation, O Lord of lords,
O Lord of lords,
O refuge of the worlds.
O refuge of the worlds,
Please be gracious to me.
please be gracious to me.
I cannot keep
I cannot keep
my balance,
my balance,
seeing
seeing,
thus your blazing,
thus your blazing,
death-like faces
death-like faces,
and awful teeth.
and awful teeth.
In all directions,
In all directions,
I am bewildered.
I am bewildered.
So the beautiful words in this verse is Prasida Devesha Jagannivasa. Beautiful. So Prasida Prabho Dukkha Jalabdhi Bhagnam. There is a verse in Damodar Ashtaka. The same Prasida word is used. Prasida means, so Prasada. Prasada is the costless mercy that the Supreme Personality of Godhead is given. Arjuna is saying to Krishna that please be gracious, please show your costless mercy. Prasida Devesha, Deva Isha, the Lord of all the Lords. So this is what Krishna says, Aham sarvasya prabhava matta sarvam pravartate iti matva bhajante mam buddha bhava samandita. Krishna says in Bhagavad-Gita that everything is emanating from me. I am the cause of everything. Sarva karana karanam. So this understanding that everything is coming from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, nothing is separate from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Is a state of liberation. So maya tatam idam sarvam jagad avyakta murtina matsthani sarva bhutani na chaham tesho avastita. Krishna says that by my energy everything is pervaded. So it is his energy. It is his external energy and internal energy. So eka desha sthitas agnir jyotsna vistarini yatha parasya brahmana shakti tadedam akhilam jagat. It is mentioned in the scriptures, just like the fire is at one place but it distributes its light and energy everywhere. Like the sun, for example. Sun is very far, but the sunlight and the sunshine comes everywhere. Exactly the same way, the Supreme Person, Golok eva nivasati akilatma bhuto, Govindam adipurusham tamam bhajam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is present in Goloka Vrindavan Dham, but his energies are automatically acting. We can understand from our own existence as well. Like we have all these different organs in our body, but they are all autonomously acting. We are not doing anything for the organs to act. The only thing that we need to do is engage those organs in some kind of activity, so that the organs are active. If we don't engage them in activity, it's kind of a lot of diseases one can get. So this is the autonomous nature of the whole creation. It's not like in some places, in some kind of faiths, in some faiths, people kind of describe the Supreme Person as someone who is doing lots and lots of activity, and then the person is getting tired, and then they're taking some rest. In some faiths, that is the example of the Supreme Person. But the understanding in the Vedic system is that the Supreme Person is personally engaged in blissful relationship with his eternal devotees. That's the only thing he's engaged in. All the other things are being carried out by his energies. Parasya Shakti Vividaiva Shrivati. Swabhaviki Jnana Bala Kriyacha. It is mentioned in the Vedas, the Jnana, Bala and Kriya. Jnana is knowledge, Bala is strength, power, and Kriya is activities. Knowledge, power and strength and activities are Swabhaviki. Swabhaviki means autonomous. It is just like the example that we have given of our organs in our body. we don't have to do anything for the organs to work. They just work autonomously. Exactly in the same way, the whole creation is working autonomously by the energies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And this is what is meant by the Jagat Nivasa. The last line, Jagat Nivasa is the Supreme Person who is situated in every atom of the universe. This is Andantarastham Paramanu Chayantarastham Govinda Madhipurusham Tamam Bhajam. How he is situated in the form, in every nucleus, through the medium of his energy. Because everything is energy, in a sense. So we have got the external energy which we can see, and then the internal energy which we cannot see. The internal energy is the living entities. Jiva Bhutam Mahabaho Yedam Dharati Jagat. So here, what Arjuna is witnessing is Damshra Karalani Chate Mukhani. So he's seeing the terrible teeth and the faces, the unlimited faces. Drishva Kala Nala Sannibhani. Kala Anala. So basically what he's seeing is there is this fire that is coming, and this fire is engulfing everyone else. Whoever is coming, it's all engulfing. And Disho na jane na labhecha sharma. So in all directions he's seeing. So it's like, in a sense, it's like a very horrorful kind of sight that Arjuna is seeing. And that's why in the end he says that, please stop your universal form now, come back to your original form. So we'll come to the next verse 26 and 27 together. Amichatvam Dhritarashtrasya putraha. Amichatvam Dhritarashtrasya putraha. Sarve saheva vanipala sangai. Sarve saheva vanipala sangai. Bhishmo Drona Sutaputra Tathasau. Bhishmo Drona Sutaputra Tathasau. Sahasmadiyai Apiyodha Mukhyai. Sahasmadiyai Apiyodha Mukhyai. Vatranite Tvaramana Vishanti. Vatranite Tvaramana Vishanti. Damsha Karalani Bhayanakani. Damsha Karalani Bhayanakani. Kechit Vilagna Dashan Antareshu. Kechit Vilagna Dashanantareshu. Sandrishyante Churnitair Uttamangai. Sandrishyante Churnitair Uttamangai. So what the word Ami? These. Cha. Also. Tvam. You. Dhritarashtrasya. Of Dhritarashtra. Putra. The sons. Sarve. All. Saha. With. Eva. Indeed. Avanipala. Of warrior kings. Sanghai. The groups. Bhishma Deva. Dronacharya. Sutaputra. Karna. Tatha. Also. Asau. That. Saha. With. Asmadiyai. Our. Api. Also. Yodha Mukhyai. Chiefs among the warriors. Vaktrani. Mouths. Te. Your. Tvaramana. Rushing. Vishanti. Are entering. Damshra. Teeth. Karalani. Terrible. Bhayanakani. Very fearful. Kechit. Some of them. Vilagnaha. Becoming attached. Dashana Antareshu. Between the teeth. Sandrishyante. Are seen. Churnitahi. With smash. Uttamangai. Heads. Translation: all the sons of Dhritarashtra,
all the sons of Dhritarashtra,
along with their allied kings,
along with their allied kings,
and Bhishma,
and Bhishma,
Drona, Karna,
Drona, Karna,
and our chief soldiers also,
and our chief soldiers also,
are rushing into your fearful mouths.
are rushing into your fearful mouth,
And some
and some
I see trapped
I see trapped,
with heads smashed
with heads smashed
between your teeth.
between your teeth.
It's a very kind of, let me just imagine that scene. It's kind of quite a horrible scene, terrible scene, where even the great warriors like Bhishma, Drona and Karna, Karna is also, it's kind of an interesting personality of Karna, one of the things about Karna is one can see that he had very pious side to him, Karna. The reason why he was supporting Duryodhana was because Duryodhana gave him that Angarajya. So he was being loyal to Duryodhana, and it's a kind of amazing personality in that sense, Karna. Even if you look at Bhishma, there was another amazing personality. Like his father Shantanu, he was marrying Ganga Devi, and then there was this thing that he should not become the king. She said that only my sons should become the king, should go to the throne. So then Bhishma took that oath, that promise that he will never marry and he will always be loyal to the throne, and that's why he was loyal to Dhritarashtra. If you look at Dronacharya, again, he has that story of, again, he has to be loyal to the throne. So these are all great personalities, and they all have piousness in them. They all have love for Krishna in them as well. But because of the way they had to be loyal to the throne, they were not on the side of Arjuna. They were on the side of Duryodhana. But their hearts were with Arjuna. They were physically they were fighting for Duryodhana, but their hearts and minds were for Arjuna and Krishna. So these are all wonderful people, and they all are devotees of Krishna. But because they were siding on Duryodhana's side, Arjuna is seeing all this, that they're being, their end is coming. Arjuna is seeing that, and this is what Krishna says in Nimitta Matram Bhava Sabyasachi. Very beautiful verse Krishna says it later, in this chapter itself. He will be saying later that, "Oh Arjuna, you become my instrument." That's what Krishna says. So what does it mean by becoming instrument of the Lord? That means that whatever activities we are doing, we are, in the mind, we are saying that, "Oh Lord, this is an offering to you." Why this is an offering to you? Because it is all yours at the end of the day. Can we ever say that, we have this body and everything, mind and all, but what is our contribution in terms of getting our body and mind? We don't know, right? The only contribution that we have is that we have been engaged in lots of activities, and basing on what activities we have done, we have got a particular type of body and mind, and continuing in that, and there is a vicious cycle and there is a virtuous cycle. So what is meant by vicious cycle? Vicious cycle is that somehow people are engaged in doing sinful activities. So when they are engaged in doing sinful activities, their chitta is their subconscious existence, and the subconscious mind is filled with those unfortunate sinful activities. And because of that, their continuance in sinful activity doesn't stop, because their whole existence is dependent on sinful activities. That is called the vicious cycle. And then you've got a virtuous cycle as well. The virtuous cycle is somehow or other we are pious, and because we have piety in us, we continue to be pious. So there is a good cycle and there is a bad cycle. But the wonderful thing here is that the people who are in bad cycle can also come to the virtuous cycle. If they get the mercy of a pure devotee of the Lord. The best example is Valmiki. He was a dacoit called Ratnakar, and he was just looting people and killing people. But then Narad Muni came, and then he asked this question. You're doing all these activities for the family, but is the family going to bear the brunt of what you're doing? And then he understands that he has to bear the brunt of his activities. And then he says Mara, 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 and then Mara becomes Ram, and then he just gets engrossed in Ram and he forgets everything else. And then an anthill starts forming around him. That's what Valmiki means. Valmiki means one who has anthill on him. So this is a wonderful nature of our existence. So why were we saying all these things? Because there is a mention of Bhishma, Drona, and Karna. So they are all unfortunately on the side of Duryodhana, but their minds and hearts are for Arjuna and Krishna. And then it also says about what is that? Churnitair Uttamangai. That's kind of, it's an interesting word there. Churnitair means it's getting crushed. Uttamanga means the head. Head is getting crushed by between the mouths of that universal form. So basically, the destruction that is going to happen is seen by Arjuna through the universal form. Then verse 28. Yatha nadinam baho ambuvegaha.
Yatha nadinam baho ambuvegaha.
Samudrameva bhimukha dravanti.
Samudrameva bhimukha dravanti.
Tatha tavami naralokavira.
Tatha tavami naralokavira.
Vishanti vatrani abhivijvalanti.
Vishanti vatrani
abhivijvalanti. So what the word yatha?
Yatha
As
Nadina
of the rivers. Bahavaha,
Bhagavaha,
the many. Ambuvegaha, waves of the water.
waves of the waters. Samudram,
The
ocean.
Eva, certainly.
Abhimukhaha, towards.
Dravanti,
glide.
Tatha, similarly.
Tava,
Your,
Ami,
all these.
Naralokaviraha,
Kings of human society.
Vishanti,
are entering.
Vaktrani,
The mouths.
Abhivijvalanti,
And are blazing. Translation: as the many waves of the rivers flow into the ocean, so do all these great warriors enter blazing into your mouths. So this is a good metaphor that Arjuna is giving here. So he is giving the example that all the rivers are finally merging into the ocean. So just like all the rivers are merging into the ocean, what Arjuna is seeing is that all these kings, who are assembled in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, are entering into this universal form of the Lord. In terms of the universal form is just destroying everyone, through the ferocious teeth and everything else. And one of the things that we can understand here is Krishna actually says in Bhagavad-Gita as well, Mrityu sarva haraschaham. So he says that I am also the death, and by the means of death, I take away everything from the people. Because that's what death does. So basically, I get a particular body, and then when I get this body, I get attached to the people through this body. Because this body is coming from my parents, and so I got this attachment to my parents. Then if you have siblings, your attachment. If you have relatives, your attachment to them. If you are then getting a family, a new attachment. So the attachment never stops, and the whole basis of all these attachments is this particular body that I have got. And that is why it is very difficult for someone who is in totally material frame of existence. When death is coming for them, it becomes very difficult for them because they think that I'm gone, now I don't have any existence. But a person who has got spiritual knowledge will understand that a cloth is being given up and a new cloth is going to be taken. Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya. Very beautifully, Krishna actually gives that example. Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihaya navani grananti naroparani. So vasamsi means the clothes. So Krishna gives the example of that. Just like the living entity, just like a person takes off the old cloth and puts on new cloth. Tatha sharira vihaya jirnani anyani samyati navani dehi. Exactly the same way, the living entity gives up the old body and takes on a new body. So just see the perspective matters here. So one perspective is that this existence is the only existence. This body is the only existence, nothing else exists. And because of that, once my body is lost, I have lost everything. That is one perspective. Other perspective is, I am never born, I will never die. And this is like a cloth that is getting old and a new cloth will come in later. It's kind of amazing. This is spiritual, this is what liberation is all about. Liberation means Iha yasya hare dasya karmana manasa gira. Karmana, manasa and gira. Karmana is through activities, manasa is through mind, gira is through speech. So what the scriptures are saying that Iha yasya hare dasya. So while remaining in this material world, if I am Hari Dasa, if I am, and that is my original nature. It's every person is an eternal part and parcel of Krishna. That is our original nature. But the moment I get this particular body, immediately I think that this is the only existence. There is nothing else that exists. That is what is called Ajnana. And that's why, Krishna, Tesham evanu kampartham aham ajnana jam tama nashyami atma bhavasto jnana dipena bhasvata. Very beautiful verse of Krishna. And actually, that can signify, like Diwali has just got over, it can actually signify the definition of Diwali as well. That particular verse. What Krishna says is, Tesha eva anukampartham. To those people, I give them special mercy. Who? What kind of special mercy is that? Tesha eva anukampartham aham ajnanajam tamaha. So, tamaha means ignorance, ajnanajam is, tamaha means darkness and ajnanajam is ignorance. So basically, the moment I get my particular body, unfortunately, I am in the darkness of ignorance. So, Krishna says that I give them special mercy and I lit the lamp of transcendental knowledge. Jnana dipena bhasvata. Tesham evanu kampartham aham ajnana jam tama nashyami atma bhavastu. So how does that darkness of ignorance go away? When the light of transcendental knowledge, the lamp, is lit. That transcendental knowledge is the understanding that we are never born and we will never die. That is the transcendental knowledge. And that is the actual significance of celebrating Diwali. When we are actually lighting the lamp, that lamp is indicating to us that we are eternal. We are never born, we will never die. That is the light that is removing the darkness of ignorance, thinking that this relative reality is the absolute reality. It is not. Relative reality is based on absolute reality. And what is absolute reality? Awareness, pure awareness. And that awareness is totally disassociated from all kinds of attachment. There is no attachment. The only attachment that exists in that awareness is the relationship with Krishna. That we are an eternal part and parcel of Krishna. And that is liberation. That is what Diwali signifies actually, in that sense. So when we are when this particular verse, so basically why we came to that topic, because here in this particular verse, Krishna is talking, giving the example of how, not Krishna, Arjuna is talking here. Arjuna is giving the example here about how the different rivers are coming and merging into the ocean, and similarly, everything is getting devoured by the universal form of the Lord. And if you look at it from the perspective of our existence in this material world, that is what is happening, right? They actually say, as sure as death and taxes, that's what they generally say. you cannot avoid death, and you cannot avoid taxes as well. So that is the material existence. Unless you are in a country where there are no taxes. There are some countries where there are no taxes. But unfortunately, there is no place in this material existence where one can exist eternally. Because Brahma Bhona Loka Punaravartino Arjuna. Krishna says in Bhagavad-Gita, from the Brahma Loka onwards to all the other planetary systems, there is Punaravartina. Punaravartina means constantly coming and going, But Parastasmatu Bhavanyo Vyakta Viktat Sanatana Yasa Sarveshu Bhuteshu Vinashatsu Na Vinashyati. Krishna says there is a transcendental realm which is above the constant cycle of creation and destruction. That is the supreme abode, the abode of Supreme Personality of Godhead. And if we have some way or the other, if we can constantly try and understand and be established in the fact that everything is Lord's, and therefore I can remember the Lord at every moment. If somehow or other we can be in that frame of mind, then the goal of human form of life is achieved. Because this can be done only in the human form of life. In no other form of life we can involve in devotional service of the Lord. So with the prayers that we can always remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead, yena tena prakarena mana krishne niveshye. So some way or the other, fix the mind on Krishna. Sarve vidhi nishedasyo etayor eva kinkara. All the other rules and regulations are subservient to this main rule. Because generally, people have the deity in their home, and when they have deity in the home, they are doing service to the deity. So what is the reason why? Because you're remembering the Lord. You're remembering to serve the Lord. So whatever rules and regulations, everything is there. The end goal is, are we able to remember the Lord? So if we, with the prayers that we can always remember the Lord at every place, time and circumstance. Thank you very much for listening. Srimad Bhagavad-Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. If there are any comments or questions, we can discuss. Okay, so we will sing the Narasimha Pranam Mantra. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Hiranyakashe Purvakshaha Ito Narsimho Parato Narsimho Yato Yato Yami Tato Narsimho Bahir Narsimho Hridaye Narsimho Narasimhamadin Sharanam Prapade Tavtara Natha Adbhuta Shringa Dalita Hiranyakashipo Tanu Vrinda Keshavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagdisha Hare Jaya Jagdisha Hare Jaya Jagdisha Hare Prahlad Maharaj Jaya, Bhakta Prahlad Jaya, Prahlad Maharaj Jaya, Bhakta Prahlad
Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya, Bhakta Prahlad Jaya, Prahlad Maharaj Jaya, Bhakta Prahlad.
Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura
Hari Bol, Hari Bol,
Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. नरसिंहदेव भगवान की जय, प्रहलाद महाराज की जय। नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्ण कृष्णाय श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे सर्वं श्री कृष्णार्पणमस्तु कृष्णे मतिरस्तु हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much.